about a few things today. The first thing that we will talk about is the SDET itself. We will talk about an overview of this rule of what SDET actually is. And then we will go on and talk about from a company's perspective, why should a company hire an SDET? So what is the value proposition for companies in terms of hiring these people or these profiles which has a specific skill set? And then I will go on and I will talk about uh, from from a student perspective or from your perspective. I will talk about what is in it for you actually. So why should you care? It's a Saturday. I understand most of you have a better things to do and you have come here to join the session, so thank you so much for that. I will be going through that to tell you more about the rule and how this can help you to get a better and stable income and have a prospering career in the tech industry. After we talk about these things, I will go through the course duration. I will talk about how much time you need in order to be successful with following up the course materials, and how much commitment. Basically, we will talk about the time commitment of the course. And then I will talk about the curriculum. Actually, Dawood will be covering this part. So he will go through the curriculum and what topics and what technologies we actually will be teaching during the 6 months of the class. And at the end of it, I will be talking about the fee structure, and then we will go about what are the next steps for you to take, what are the action steps that you need to take in order to enroll in the class. So before I get to any of these things, I actually want to clear a couple of things before I get to the details of the agenda for today. So first of all, I want to talk about our mission. So our mission at Anaar Code School is that we want to help people who have no IT background and who has no coding experience to secure tech jobs. And so that's our main goal with this class and with this program. The main mission that we started in our code school is people who have been, doing Uber, people who are working in the restaurant industry, who are working in call centers, who are not able to, secure a very good prospering job. We are trying to help them to secure high-paying, tech industry jobs. That's our mission with Anar Code School. The second thing that I wanted to touch base is our objective. So when I was talking to some of you over the phone when I invited you for this session, most of you were asking me like, is there any certifications that we will be providing to you at the end of the class? So the answer to that question is no. we uh, we we are not going to be providing you with any sort of certification. That's not our goal and that's not our objective. Our main objective with this class is to help you get a good stable job in the tech industry. That's our main goal. You might have heard that big tech companies like Google and Facebook and all of these other big companies, they don't really care about diplomas. They don't really care about college degrees and all that. Now, I'm not saying that college degrees and university degrees and all of this is not important. I'm not trying to suggest something like that. What I'm trying to say here is the job market today, especially in the tech industry, is very different from, let's say, 15 to 1 years ago. So it's evolving very fast. Companies are looking for skills. They are not looking for certifications. They are not looking for diplomas. So our main objective with this class is not to give you a certificate, but to help you to secure the job. That would be our main objective. Now, if some of you might be interested to get some sort of certifications, uh, uh, this course is all about software testing. So there is a standardized test which is available. So it's called ISTQB, which stands for International Software Testing Qualifications Board. If some of you are still interested to go for this exam, you can definitely go for the exam. It's a standardized exam. I believe the cost of this is 150 US dollars, but it's totally optional. From my own experience and from the experience of all my other colleagues at Anar Code School, we believe that you don't need this certification or any other certification for that matter. The only thing that you need is to pass through the interview, to have the specific skills to be able to be successful on the job. And we are promising to give you those kind of skills that will help you to get through the interview and fetch that job that you're that the fetch the job that you are actually dreaming about. So before I go into the details, I just wanted to ask if I'm going too fast or too slow. Are you happy with the pace of the presentation so far? You can actually let me know in the comments or in the chat box section. Let me know if this is too fast or too slow, or if you are not following up with me.
It's okay, I think.
All right, great. Thank you so much. So I will now that we have covered the basic things, our expectations from the class as well. We talk about the mission and the objective of the class. I will get into the details of the agenda. So we will start about the SDET itself. I've been talking to you guys throughout the week. I've been talking about SDET. So let's start about from the question about what SDET actually is. So basically, SDET stands for Software Development Engineer in Test. That's the acronym for this kind of job. When you go onto job portals, let's say you go to LinkedIn or you go to, let's say, Glassdoor or ZipRecruiter, which are other job portals, you also might see job posting which are talking about, let's say, software automation test engineer, or they might post about QA automation analyst. You might also see Selenium test engineer or stuff like this. These are all the different keywords for the same profile. So basically, all of these people are doing the same job. The main job of SDET or software automation test engineer is to automate the QA process, and by QA I mean quality assurance. And we will get to more details. I will cover what QA actually is, and what it means in software development, and overall in the tech industry. For now, we just want to know that the job of SDET is to automate QA processes, and that's the main responsibility of SDET or a software automation engineer. So before we get to more details about SDET itself, let's talk about the difference about manual QA and automation QA. So manual or traditional quality assurance is done by a QA analyst. Normally, this is done by a human being. So before we get into that, I just want to give you a short story about the importance of quality assurance. So quality assurance, as you already know, is important not only in software but in every product and service that any company is providing to the marketplace. uh, they need to make sure that they are actually delivering a quality product or a quality service for their customers. um, in 2004, you might have heard the name of GM, General Motors. So GM made a small mistake. Actually, it wasn't a small mistake. So they designed a car and they branded a new car. They brought it to the market in 2004, but there was a small issue with the car, with the ignition switch. So the ignition switch was too heavy. So whenever you would drive the car, all of a sudden, because the ignition key was too heavy, it would stop the car. It would turn and twist while you are driving, and that would stop the car. And that small mistake by GM, it cost billions of dollars for the companies, because it caused, people were driving on highway at high speeds, and all of a sudden their car would stop, and it caused fatal crashes, and people died, they lost their lives. It was a devastating experience for Americans and for GM in general. And the company was sued. They actually lost billions of dollars for making this small mistake, not taking care of the quality assurance processes. So what I'm trying to drive here with this point is that quality assurance is not only important in software but also in every other product or service that you might see. And same goes for software industry as well. So whenever any company, when they are trying to deliver a software to their customers, they need to deliver a software which is a stable software, which is free of bugs. So by bugs we mean like issues. That's a technical word for whenever a software has an issue, we normally call it a bug. So the job of the company is to deliver a bug free software. And that's why the rule of QA is so important. And every company have heavily invested in quality assurance, because they are hiring hundreds and thousands of people to test their software before it gets to the market. That's what manual QA is all about. Traditionally, a company would do manually. They will test the application manually, but with the evolution of technology, now companies have realized that they can actually automate the process. Through writing codes and scripts and some automation tools, companies are now able to basically automate the process of manually testing application. They can automate the whole process, and the job of the person who is doing this kind of automation, who is writing the code and everything, who are using these kind of automation tools, the job of this guy, those people are called SDET in this industry. And that's why SDET is so important, and that's why companies are paying a lot of money for these kind of jobs and these kind of rules in the tech industry. The other big difference, we did talk about that QA is done by QA analyst and the automation is done by script and automation tools. The other thing with manual QA is that it's time consuming, but however, automation is very fast. Um, Manual QA is also cost intensive, so it costs a lot for the companies to hire, let's say, 50 people to test the application. If let's say an application has 1,000 different functionalities, they would need, let's say, 50 people to test all of these 1,000 functionalities, and it would probably take them 1 or 2 weeks to test the whole application before they can deliver it to the market. However, with QA automation, now instead of hiring 50 people, the company can actually hire 2 or 3 estate people, and they can write a code, and they can do the job of all of these 50 people at once. And that's why it's so important for the companies to hire these software test automation engineers. Um, by doing this, they are actually cutting a lot of labor. They are saving a lot of money in labor wages, because instead of paying 50 people, now they are paying 1 or 2 or 3 people to do the automation for them. So that's why companies are really interested to hire SDET or software automation testers. Now that we have talked about the SDET rule itself, I want to talk about from the perspective of company, why they care to hire you. We actually talked a little bit about this, so I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this as well. Again, companies are hiring SDET people because there are some advantages for hiring these kind of people. One of the advantages is that automation is fast, and instead of doing it by a human resources, we can actually write a code, and executing the code is very fast. It takes like 15 minutes or 20 minutes. However, if you want to do it by, like, let's say 10 or 15 actual people, it might take 1 or 2 weeks. So the job that can be done in 1 or 2 weeks, companies can now do it in 10 or 15 minutes with automation once they write the code. The other thing is the automation is reliable, it's reusable, and it improves accuracy. What we mean by reusable is, actually, these are all the terms we will cover during the class. So I don't want to go into too much technicalities, but basically by reusable, we means, let's think about writing a song. Once we write a song, an artist write a song, we can play the song as many times as we want. And the same goes for a code as well. Once we write the code, basically execution of the code or running the code doesn't take a lot of time. It might take 10-15 minutes if we have a huge code. So that's the beauty of automation, and that's why companies are actually paying this much money for these kind of rules. And we did talk about that automation does save time and money for companies. All right, so now that we talk about uh, what SDET is and why companies need to hire these people, we will actually talk about the value proposition from a student perspective. So why you should uh, actually go on with this course that we are offering, that we have structured for you guys. And so what is in it for you? Basically, I'm not going to talk too much in this slide. I'm going to practically show something for you. The main reason that we are actually trying to tell you to study this course is the salary. So I will talk about the salary of these estate people in US and in Canada, and then I will also try to cover how much demand there is actually for these kind of rules. So let's first see how much salary is being paid for SDET rules in USA. So let me click on this link actually, and let me know if you can actually see the screen, this next screen that I have opened.
Yes, it's pretty visible.
Okay, great, great. So as you can see, this is ZipRecruiter, right? ZipRecruiter, most of you are already familiar with this website, and it says the estate salary. So the average national average for estate in USA is this much. This is what the figure is. It's around $120,000, and if you're looking per hour, it's around $58 per hour. Based on our own experience, that we have seen, we have worked with so many other people who have got this kind of jobs. The job market, the current job market in US, it pays anywhere from 90,000 to $140,000. So 90,000 is actually the bare minimum. I have seen people, I have actually know two people, two guys who got offers in California. They got offers. One of them got an offer for $135,000, and the other one got an offer for 140K. So it's the job market is very hot right now. There is so much demand. I will show actually the demand part, I will show it later. But what I want to emphasize here, this kind of role, it actually pays a lot of money. And we did talk about the reason why companies want to pay this much for this kind of rules. The reason for that being is they can save time and money with automation. That's because they need you. If they don't need you, they won't actually pay that much of money for you. So that's the current job market in the US. And the other thing I want to actually talk about here is that currently, because of the pandemic, most of the tech jobs in general, they are remote jobs. So you don't need to go to an actual office. So if you are, let's say, living in Virginia, for example, you can apply across all 52 states in the US. Or you're living in California, you can apply anywhere. So the demand across USA is huge. You don't need to travel. You don't need to go to an actual office. You're actually working from home. Like I will give my own example. Me and Dawood and all of the other colleagues that are working at Anaar School, we are actually working from home. So we don't need to go to offices, and that's another good thing about getting into the tech industry and getting into these kind of roles. All right, so let's talk a little about the median salary or the average salary of estate in Canada. So I'm going to click on this link as well. So this again is talent.com. It's a very famous website. You might have seen it. So again, this is the average salary in Canada 2022. This is the magic number again. So 105,000 is the average salary. So again, this is something which is average, which is median, based on the data from talent.com. Now this is just a website. We have seen it in ourselves in the market. We are actually in the market, so we know the in and outs of the job market right now. We have helped so many people, as I've already mentioned. So based on our experience, the lower that you can get in the current job market is 90K. The higher that you can go is probably 120K in the Canadian market. So between 90K to 120K, that's what we are looking for. Again, there are two type of rules. We don't want to get into too much technicals as well. There are full-time roles and then there are contract roles. Generally speaking, contract roles pay more. They pay much more than full-time roles, because they don't need to pay for vacation and all that. So they can pay higher. But this is the average salary for full-time roles. So it's anywhere between 90K to up to 120K based on our own experience. So now that we have talked about the salary part, let's also look into how much actual demand is there for this kind of role. So I'm going to open this link as well so that you can see what is the demand for these type of rules. This website is called dice.com. It's a job portal such as ZipRecruiter or Glassdoor or something like that. This is a main portal for tech jobs in the US. Most of the jobs are announced. Not most of them, actually, half of the jobs are advertised on this website. It's called dice.com. So here I'm searching for SDET, the role that we will be teaching you throughout the class. And my location that I have selected is United States. So this is across all US. And then here I have chosen last 3 days. So we want to see how many jobs have been posted in the last 3 days. And this is, again, this is the magic numbers. There are 27 jobs in the last 3 days. And remember, today's weekend, so no job was actually advertised today. This is actually 2 days. 2 days only in one portal, there are around 27 jobs. In any given day, you might see more than 20 jobs posted every day. Every day there are around 20 jobs or more only on this website. And then if you include LinkedIn or Glassdoor or Monster.com, all of those portals, different companies based on their own HR policies, they are advertising on different websites. We will talk about those as well. What I'm trying to say here is the demand is actually huge. It's tremendous. So you will never, you will never get rid of. There would be no shortage of jobs being announced. So the demand is huge and the pay is actually very good. So that's the two main reasons why you need to actually pay attention and why you can actually go through this class. And our promise for you is that hopefully by the end of the class, we don't want to give you any certifications, but we will actually help you to get the offer. So that's the good part that we are actually trying to drive here. um, so again, we did talk about the average salaries, the demand in the market. And so this is basically the magic figure. Whenever you try to think about SDET or this class in general or Anaar Code School, this is what you want to keep in mind. At the end of the course, you are going for a job which is actually going to pay you 100K plus. So that's not what I made up. I'm not talking from my own uh, mind. This is something which is actually being paid to all of these other people who are going for these kind of jobs. And this is nothing made up. So I actually showed you that this is very real and very not not vague. It's actually possible to get these jobs. Okay, so now that we did talk about some other stuff like the value proposition from company's perspective and from your perspective, we will talk about the course duration and how much time commitment is needed to follow this course. The only thing I want to talk about here is most of you are probably working full time. So I just want to let you know that when this class that you will be following, it's actually very possible to it's very possible to do it with a full-time job. So the way that we have designed this is you will actually have no issues to follow this class. Some of you might also have family commitments. You might have full-time jobs and you probably are working two shifts as well. I don't know about your everybody's personal situation, but what I'm trying to say here, if you put a little bit of effort, this is actually doable. We are not asking too much from you. The only thing we are asking, so the whole, let's talk from the beginning. The duration of the course is 7 months. So out of this 7 months, the first 6 months we will teach you, or all of the instructors, they will be focusing on the skill or the knowledge part. So we will be teaching you different technologies and different programming languages that you will need to learn in order to be able to get this estate job. And then the last month we will cover market preparation. I will get into that part, what actually we will cover in the market preparation. But that's the general structure of the course. It's for 7 months. 6 months is theory, not theory actually, like 6 months is knowledge sharing, and then one last one is market preparation. During the week, the classes will be held from Monday to through Thursday. So it's on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So this is 4 days a week, and it's 3 hours each day. So the class will be live from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's Toronto and New York time. Um, let's say if you are not able to join the live class, it doesn't matter, because we will be recording the sessions, and all of the sessions will be available on Google Drive. So after we finish the class, the recording will be uploaded in 1 or 2 hours to the Google Drive, and we will give you the access to Google Drive, and you will be able to go there and watch the recorded session. So it's actually, if you are not able to make it to the class for any reason, maybe you are at work at that time or you have some other things to do, you are not able to join the class at 7 p.m., doesn't matter. You can still watch the recorded sorry, you can still watch the recorded session. So that's about the time duration and the days of the class. How much weekly effort is actually needed for this class to be successful? So we are talking about our own experience. So again, this could be different from person to person. Based on our experience, for an average student, basically we are having 12 hours of class, because 4 days a week, 3 hours a day, that's 12 hours in each week. And then you will probably need around 10 hours of self-study to review the materials that that cover in the class, and do assignments and everything. So basically 12 hours in class sessions, and 10 hours of your own self-study. So we are talking about anywhere between 20 to 22 hours. That would be more than enough to be able to learn everything, and go in a smoother pace, that you don't it doesn't affect your work life balance as well, and you can get to your family, you can do your job properly, but still be able to, if you are able to dedicate around 20 hours during the week, that would be good enough. And I think most of us are now probably now working on the weekends. So for some of us, it might be feasible to do most of the studies or most of the review on the weekends itself. So that's basically about the time commitment. The next thing that we want to talk about here is the curriculum. And for this section, I will ask Dawood to come on mic and talk about the curriculum itself. Dawood, are you there?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Noor. Very important information. So, can you go to the next slide, or I think previous slide?
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's talk about what is covered in this program, or what I call a roadmap to SDET and getting a job in automation as automation test engineer. So first thing first, we will start with manual testing. We will cover the techniques that are necessary for writing test cases. We will cover Jira, which is a task management tool. At the end of this course, we will have a real-time project. It's going to be on a web application, a real web application. So that's for manual testing. We will also cover SDLC and STLC, which stands for Software Development Lifecycle and Software Testing Lifecycle. So that's for manual testing. Then we will jump to SQL. It's a programming language for managing database, structured databases. This is going to be for 2 weeks. This is also going to be a warm-up to coding. Then we will start Java, the programming language that is necessary for automation. So we will cover Java basics like loops, foundations, and also OOPS concept, object-oriented programming. This Java class will be for 10 weeks. We will have a senior developer teaching this class. After Java, we will start Selenium. This is, I can say, 80 to 90% of the market is run by Selenium, the automation part. So we will cover Selenium. After covering Selenium, we will also cover two famous automation frameworks, which are Cucumber framework and also TestNG. So at the end of this course, Selenium course, we will have a complete capstone project. So I mentioned earlier that we will have a project, a real-time project for manual testing at the end of manual testing course. So all those test cases that we have written in manual testing, we will automate those test cases. So you will have a very good idea of automation. So the automation part will be for 6 weeks. Then we will jump to the final educational part, which is API testing. In API testing, we will cover manual API testing. We will also teach some famous tools for API testing, which are Postman, Karate Framework, PrestaShore. And once we are done with all these educational parts, we will go to the fun part, which is actually resume writing, mock interviews. So we will help with resume writing. We will do that actually for you. We will also have some mock interviews. We will create not just LinkedIn profiles, but also Glassdoor, Dice.com. Noor talked about Dice.com earlier. So we will create those profiles, Glassdoor, for you. This is approximately for 2 weeks, and then once we feel that you're confident, you're ready, you can start applying for jobs, and hopefully you will get a well-paid job that Noor was talking about. So yeah, this is all about the roadmap to SDET and automation test engineering. Back to you, Noor.
Yeah, thank you so much, Daud. Can you
No
please
problem.
mute yourself? Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
sure.
there is an echo in the voice, but thank you so much. Thanks a lot for the detailed information about what technologies we're going to teach in this class. Yeah, so these are all the things that you don't need to actually worry about. This might be new to you. Don't get confused by any of these things. Don't get confused what actually API is. We will get to that. We have enough time for this. We will definitely cover them in details. We will go from very beginning, and then we will gradually go to advanced topics. So as we mentioned at the earlier of the presentation, you don't need, I'm going to repeat this, you don't need any background knowledge in IT or coding to be able to follow this kind of stuff. So it's gonna be very easy. We will start from the very beginning of all these topics. So once we feel confident that you are good with the basics, then we will move on to the more advanced topics. So that's all about the curriculum of the class. Now I will also talk about the fee structure. Obviously, everything has a cost. So and we also have, as a business, we also have some sort of recurring and operational costs. So we will definitely talk about these as well. So our fee structure is actually very simple. This fee has two portions. The first portion is during the class or the tuition, and the second part is a one-time fee that you will pay after you get a job. So during the class, while you are studying, as I mentioned, our class is for 7 months, but you will actually pay for 6 months. So the last month is free. We are not charging for the last month. So we are teaching for 7 months, but we are actually charging you for 6 months. And the per month tuition is $400. So you are going to be paying $400 per month. Now, if you are living in the US, you will be paying in US dollars. If you are living in Canada, you will be paying in Canadian dollars. And you might ask, why is that? The reason for that is, as I showed you earlier, let me go back to that part of the salaries. I actually showed you here the average salary in US and Canada is different. Basically, you are getting paid more if you are living in US, but if you are living in Canada, your pay would be, comparing to US, it would be a little bit less. And as you know, US dollar is a little bit stronger in comparison to the US to the Canadian dollars. So that's why we are actually asking to charge you in US dollars if you are actually living in US, and you will get a US job, because you will obviously get paid more than what our Canadian students will be getting paid. So that's about the per month tuition. In total, for 6 months, your total tuition would be $2,400. And this is actually during the class. Now that after you, let's say you finish the class, you go through everything that we talked about, then there would be a time that you will get your first offer. um, we are not talking about just one offer. Most of the students that we work with, they actually got so many, like, they got more than 2 or 3 offers. So hopefully you will also get a few offers, and then you will be choosing between those offers. So after you get the offer, by the time you will be paying another $5,000, and this will be a one-time payment. And to give you a little bit of idea of why we have structure the fee this way is because we want to emphasize that our main job is to get you a job. So as long as we are not there, as long as you haven't got the job, we are actually not getting paid that much. This $400 that we are actually charging here, most of it actually goes into our operational expenses, so we are not getting that much in this part. The main part for us, or the profit, actually starts whenever we get you a job. So sorry. So that's why we are actually emphasizing that we won't charge you unless you don't get a job. The $5,000, it would be much easier, because once you get a job, hopefully you will be getting paid about 7,000. So you will be getting anywhere between $7,000 to $10,000, hopefully the per month, that is. So it would be actually really easy for you to get, to pay this $5,000, and that shouldn't be a big deal at the time when once you actually have a job. So we think this is very, this is fair enough, considering the job and the prospect that you will get after finishing this class. Now this is the whole. Again, you can ask me questions if you have about any of these topics that we have covered so far, and then I'm going to this is the last section that I want to cover here. I'm gonna talk about the next steps, and Dawood, you can jump in if you feel like there is anything else that I might have missed here. So basically, now that we did talk about the journey itself, we did about the job prospects and everything. If you feel really that this is something for you, and you feel interested, and you think that you can actually do this, then our class will be actually starting on 6th of June. That's in a couple of weeks, I believe. So our class will be starting on the 6th of June. That's the first thing. And we are still not sure when this second thing will happen, but you will also, once you decide that you're actually getting into the class, we have your email address, so we will be sending you an agreement, an online contract agreement, that you will be able to sign it online, and that will be sent through the email. We will be sending you this agreement anytime in June, so you will be expecting this email from us again. There is one more important thing that I actually forgot to mention, and that relates to the fees. I'm going to go back here. So the first month, the fee that we will charge is $400. uh, you can study the whole month. After doing the class for 1 month, if you feel like this is not for you, and it's not working for any reason, that you might feel that this is not a good fit, the class itself is not a good fit for you, or you don't have enough time, or whatever reason there might be, you don't feel like continuing with the program, you can actually tell us, and we will refund the first month fee, no questions asked. So we are flexible. We want to give you as much time as needed for you to be able to get to have an informed decision about this course. We understand it's huge time commitment, and it's also a very big financial commitment for most of you as well. So we want to be as flexible as possible. So just keep in mind, you can actually join the class for the first month, and if you don't like it at the end of the month, you will get your refunds. So that's about the next tips and the fees. There is one final thing that I actually want to emphasize here, and that is about the commitment. We did talk about that you actually don't need any background knowledge in IT. So we are not looking for any particular background as well. So you could be having any background. You could have studied finance, you could have studied computer science, you could have studied anything, you could have studied like literature. So it doesn't matter what your background is, but the only thing that we are looking for is your commitment and your inner desire. If you are thinking that, okay, wherever you are right now in terms of your career and your terms of your the packages that you're getting from your job, so if you are not happy about it and you feel like you need a change and you feel like you want to have a better life, then this is actually for you. So the only thing that we are actually looking for is the inner desire, the commitment and determination. So let I don't want to talk a lot here. Basically, I'm gonna give you a promise. The promise is not this. I don't want to legally bind myself to this, that okay, we will give you a job 100%. No, I'm not saying this. The Sorry, the only thing that I'm actually saying is 100% of the students, based on our experience, they won't get jobs, but 100% of the students who study and make an effort, they will get a job. So that's our promise to you. Once you do the class, me and Dawood, we have very good experience with working so many different people, and they have actually we have worked on an individual basis with them, and they have gone on to get like good 100K jobs, and so we are very confident then we can do the same with you as well, and hopefully by the end of this year, 2022, or hopefully maybe by the start of 2023, you will be getting your first offer, and that will be the start of the change of your life. So that's the only thing I want to emphasize here. The only thing is your commitment and your inner desire, and the rest of it we will take care for you. We just need your focus and your commitment. There is one other thing that I actually forgot about. Yeah, that's another statistics that I wanted to share with you. So basically, uh, if you study the class and you finish everything and you go to the market, realistically, how much time does it take to get a job? So I would say it's different from student to student. Based on our experience that we have worked with so many different students, we feel like it can take from anywhere from 1 week to 3 months. For an average student, it takes from 1 week to 3 months to get a job. Now, some of you might need more time. Like, it might be possible that you will wait for your first offer for 4 months or 5 months or 6 months. We cannot guarantee anything. It depends on how much effort you actually put into this. But it is very possible to get an offer within the first month itself, because as I showed to you, the job market right now is very hot, and from what it looks like, it's going to be for this for at least for a few years, going forward as well. So that's the main thing. You bring your dedication, and we will bring the tools and services that you need to get successful in this kind of job market. That's it. I don't want to talk a lot. I feel like I did talk a lot. So thank you so much for joining on this Saturday evening. Now that we are done with the presentation, Dawood, do you have anything to share that I might have missed?
Well, actually not. One thing I want to share is about SDET. So I want to, I know, I think you mentioned that, but I want to again bring this up. So SDET itself is relatively new. This software testing and automating those test cases. There's still a lot of companies there. They have manual testers, manual quality assurance people. So what they're trying to do is moving to automation because, like Noor mentioned, the manual testing is time consuming. It needs a lot of QAs, a lot of human labor. So SDET is relatively new. Automation part is relatively new. That's why a lot of companies they are trying to hire automation engineers to improve, not just improve the process, but also have like accuracy in terms of testing. So that's what I wanted to mention as well. So we can move on to QA section. So if you have any questions, you can like unmute yourself and ask
Um,
any questions.
yes, please. Somebody had questions. Please go on.
You can raise your hand. There's an option to raise your hand. So you can raise your hand and then you can unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
And if you feel like you don't want to come on the mic, that's totally fine as well. You can actually write your question in the chat box, and we will. Um, yeah. And Sufi, you have a
Okay,
question.
go
You
ahead.
can. Yeah, please go ahead. Sophie, you probably are talking on mute, so please unmute yourself if you have any questions.
Hey, it's Danish actually. How are you guys doing today?
Hi, Danish. I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you for coming up. Yes, Danish, please, do you have any question?
Yeah, it was a nice presentation. I'm just counting dollars now after 6 months. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah,
it's
that's
yeah. It's actually my question is my mom. She was also listening and she's also interested in this course, but she doesn't have any basics on this, right?
mhm.
Like she doesn't have any background. Like she just knows how to use a computer basics. That's it. So I don't think so. It's gonna be a good fit for her, I guess.
So again, this is a question, Danish, as I mentioned. I feel I have. So I personally know one person. I think age doesn't matter. It might be challenging, but I know one person. Dawood, how old was he? He was 50 or 58. I don't exactly remember.
Yeah, for sure, more than 50.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was one person we worked with. He was I don't exactly remember. He was 50 or 58. I'm not quite sure. But if how is her English? If her English skills are like fair enough, I think we can work with her, and she can definitely join the classes. After 1 month, she will have a better idea if this is actually a good fit
yeah.
or not.
Actually, to add to Noor's comments, yeah, this 1 month, I think it's a good time for her to decide, not just for her, for other people as well. So that's why we have this 1 month. After this, if you feel that this course is not for you for any reason, then you can drop it and it will be fully. Actually, we will not charge you at the beginning of this course. So you will be charged at the end of each month. So
I
for
see. Got it.
yeah, you will be charged at the end of that month. So if you feel that this course is not for you for any reason, like you don't have enough time or anything like that, you can yeah, you can drop it. But actually, I would say your background doesn't matter a lot, but your commitment does. So I know a guy. He was smart. He had a master's degree, but during this course, he traveled for 3 months, and after 6 months, he cannot expect to get a job because he didn't study for 3 months. He didn't have the commitment, but he was smart. But I know some other people who did not have any background, and they were very like they were away from computer, from not just coding and things like that, but also away from Microsoft, Word, Excel. They were away for a very long time. I personally know one of my friends, but they had commitment. So I and Noor started this thing individually working long time ago, like I would say 1 year ago. So I personally work with him. Like I even work with him on Excel and things like that, very basic things. And he is now in the job market. He probably will get his first offer. I would say like in couple of in next week from what I hear from him, like the interview process. So it
So,
really depends on the on commitment.
so you guys will be helping after the 6 months, right? Like in searching the job, and with your referrals,
Absolutely,
we'll be
absolutely. Yeah,
okay. And there's
yeah,
no certification in this course, right?
yeah. Actually, there's no certificate. The Anaar Code School is a registered school with Ontario, so we can give certification, but there's a good reason to not give it. If you want, I can explain it why.
No,
Anaar
so
Code.
just to support the uh, support our profession in on LinkedIn. There's always a certification, right? These days, you know how certifications are important. Like if you attend or go any job interview, it's the first thing what they have a look on is what's your certification.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it might be for a lot of industries, but not for SDET, not for automation engineers. I
So Dawood,
actually
let
have
me
some certificates, I
yeah,
myself, but I haven't used them really. So
uh, Danish, were you there in this where I explained in the first few slides like you don't need actually a certification? So
I
let
see.
me get to that part.
Sorry, I actually missed couple of few slides, so that's the reason my question was.
Yeah.
yeah,
So the goal for us is not to give you a certificate. The main goal is to get you a job, right? You don't
Got it.
need a certification. You can see here. If you still want to have a certification, there is an option. It's a standardized test. It's called ISTQB and it costs $150. With the materials that we will cover in the class, passing this exam will be a walk in the park based on our experience. But 99% of the people they don't need this certification. You will get a job without this certification.
Got
I
it.
personally don't have the certification. I have a job in the market. Dawood doesn't have, and so many others that I know, they don't have this certification and they have jobs. So you don't need it basically.
I see. Perfect. Yeah, so I'm excited for June 6th.
Yes, hopefully all of us are actually excited, and we are really thrilled to be able to, help more people, because I have the experience of, helping a small group of people, and this time we are actually hoping to bring more people to on a structured basis to be able to help them with the journey, and help them to fish their first offer, 100K plus offer. So we are really thrilled as well. As much as you are excited, we are also very excited.
Perfect. Thank you so much for answering my question.
No problem.
no
You're most
problem,
welcome.
no
So,
problem.
any other questions? Is there any other questions that you feel like you wanna ask at this session?
Um, I'm actually good. I don't know much of the stuff, so as we go along the course, definitely I might have a couple of questions.
Yeah, absolutely, anytime, Danesh. We are not just we don't have just support during the class, but also during the day. Our classes are during evening, but we have support during the day as well. So we will divide the students into groups. So each group will have a mentor. So you'll have the support. And if you have like any questions, you can reach out to us anytime.
And the other thing, as I mentioned earlier, again, I'm repeating myself. You don't need to worry because as long as you don't get a job, we are actually not paid. So it is in our best interest as well to try to help you as much as possible so that you can fish that job. So that's our goal. It's not just your goal, because we won't get the we won't get the payment before you get the job. So that's why we have structured it that way.
Okay. Thank you so much